today, and welcome to another edition of The Good Life. I'm your host, Crystal Paco. We started first show by celebrating the 3 new cultural houses that were formed and recognized for perpetuating the Chamorro language and culture. One by one, they were honored for their years of hard work. Vice Speaker of the Legislature, Senator Therese Terlahi, presented resolutions to Guma Ininan Isaynata, which was formed in 2010 under the direction of Fafanyagwi Raymond Lujan. Guma Kinalantan Itautautano, which was formed in 2014 under the direction of Fafanyagwi Maxine Bigler. And Guma Ninayan Atulati, which was formed in 2009 under the direction of Fafanyagwi Jonathan Perez.
Ina
organizations are the new cultural houses in Guam.
We are here to thank you because you have helped all of us through all your hard work of the teachers, the parents, and the students, and of course all of the other GU'mas that have supported these GU'mas, and all of the finance. You have brought to us a way of celebrating 4,000 years of history, and a way of honoring those who came before us. But more than all of that, you bring to us, all of the people of Guam, you bring to us the Guam we want to go forward with. And we are so forever grateful for that. That's my awesome.
The new cultural houses were not only presented resolutions from the legislature.
There's a lot of verbiage behind that, and a lot of verbiage behind that to validate the work of the GU'ma, and most especially the Papanagui, and where and who they represent, not just on a community and a local level, but even in an international and a global level. So the other certificate that you see that complements that and actually is really, really close to us was developed through the organization Pahatototano. Pahatototano means a way of life for the people of the land. Thank you very much. And officially it says Pahatototano recognizes GU'ma and then a cultural house, and it says in its existence since 2010 for perpetuating, preserving, educating, and promoting the Chamorro culture through language, history, songs, chants, dance, weaving, and traditional crafting, and for sharing of such knowledge to the people of Guam.
Stay tuned, The Good Life continues after the break. Welcome back to The Good Life. The Filipino community of Guam recently celebrated their Philippines Independence Month with their annual ball and inauguration of officers. We caught up with the president of that organization to talk about this very, very special time of year. The Tusitani Guam Resort Ballroom was packed with Filipino pride. Norman Analista is the president of the Filipino community of Guam.
Well, the Filipino community of Guam, as the umbrella organization of over 31 different Filipino associations, we thought it would be only fitting that we commemorate the 119th anniversary of the proclamation of Philippine independence. And ultimately, this is such a meaningful and momentous occasion for us because ultimately, when it was declared by General Emilio Aguinaldo 119 years ago, he basically caused the Filipinos to fight more fervently against the Spanish. And that, in essence, was a move in making the Philippines an independent country. And so today we benefit from a lot of the sacrifice that our forebears had made. And this celebration today is only fitting to recognize all of those hardships and accomplishments.
While Analista says the celebration is a time to acknowledge Filipino history, it's also time to look forward to the future and for Filipinos to embrace their culture.
In this day and age, the struggles that I think Filipinos face are those that really make it difficult for them to embrace their own unique cultural identity. There are some times where Filipinos want to be like other ethnicities, whether it be because of the skin color, facial features, and all those different things where they feel the need to have to alter their appearance just so that they could feel at the level of other ethnic groups. And so that's just one example. There are other examples that prevent Filipinos from being proud of their unique cultural heritage. Sometimes Filipinos don't want to admit they're Filipinos and they say they're a mix of different things. They're Spanish, they're Chinese, they're Hawaiian, and so forth, rather than just simply saying they're Filipino. And so there are instances where we need to take a step back and ask ourselves, why is this taking place? Why is this happening? Well, the only way to combat that is truly through education. Because when you can educate yourself, you can start to question what are those different things that attack our own self-esteem and try to make us inferior so that we can figure out how to combat those situations.
Aside from the ball, a wreath-laying ceremony was held at Mabini Shrine, located near the Asinwar in the Pacific National Park. Apolinario Mabini is described as a revolutionary hero of the Philippines who was exiled here on Guam. Up next on The Good Life, we head to the Guam Museum. Keep it here. And welcome back to The Good Life. We studied brewing in Brussels. The founder of Blue Moon was on Guam for the official launch of the Belgian wheat beer. Here's more with Andy Wheeler.
Hey, what's up, guys? Andy Wheeler here for The Good Life, and I'm down at the beautiful museum in Hagåtña. Now, a very special event here. Now, Blue Moon, you may have heard of it, you may have tried it, you've seen the commercials. Well, now it's being brought to Guam by Mid-Pack Distributors, so you're going to be seeing it a lot more places. And to celebrate that, very special night here, they're actually brought out their brewmaster, Keith Villa. He is here giving a little demonstration and telling people how to perfect the art of the perfect pour. So a really interesting night. We're just enjoying some Blue Moon, so let's go get to it.
Side of the glass, and then when it reaches the moon there, we stand the glass upright and pour a little more vigorously to get some head. And then we garnish orange slice.
Blue Moon is distributed by Mid-Pack Guam. All right, quite a night so far, and right now I'm with Irv from Mid-Pack talking about you guys actually bringing out Blue Moon because it's been available on Guam for a long time, just in really small quantities. I've been drinking it, and you can only find a 6-pack here, 12-pack here. So talk to us about the relationship and you guys starting to bring out Blue Moon in full capacity now.
Yeah, first of all, we're definitely proud that we finally have the rights to bring it in and distribute it. Like you said, it has been in the market, but it kind of dried out, and we're lucky for us that we have the opportunity to really perfect it and serve it right and get the consumer to understand that it's now available and how they should enjoy it. So.
And you guys do bring in a lot of beers, but it's very rare that you get the actual brew master out here on Guam. Talk to us about how this came about.
Oh man, it's awesome. It's definitely a great experience to have a guy like Keith Villa come down to Guam. It was a lot of commitment, a lot of time taken out of his time, especially, and it's huge. It brings a lot of insight and learnings for not just for us, but for the consumer as well to understand the beer now. So it's a great experience.
Absolutely, teaching the art of the perfect pour. So we're gonna go check out more of the event. Better to talk about this beer created over 20 years ago than the man himself. No big deal, just a couple guys talking beer. It's Andy, and just happens to be Keith Villa, the brewmaster of Blue Moon, and founder of Blue Moon. Keith, welcome to Guam.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
I've seen you on TV. We were talking just before we came on. I've seen the commercials, you telling us about Blue Moon, but didn't you really get into the history in the commercials? So tell us a little bit about your history. And it's rare that I get to talk to a guy about beer who actually has a PhD in brewing. So tell us about the history, your training, and then why you decided to go with this Belgian style.
Okay, well, I actually lived in Belgium for 4 years and got my doctorate in brewing from the University of Brussels. And there's only a handful of us in the world that have PhDs in brewing, so I take it very seriously. But I enjoy beer too, and I really fell in love with those styles of beer that they brew in Belgium, and launched Blue Moon in 1995. And back then, the beer world was completely different than it is today. People really weren't into craft beer, and they thought craft beer was more or less amber ales and amber lagers. And when I launched Blue Moon to be, this cloudy golden beer, people thought there was something wrong with it. They said, why is it cloudy? And I would explain that it's brewed with wheat, oats, and barley malt, spiced with coriander and orange peel. Nothing artificial at all is in it. And it's unfiltered to keep all that goodness in the beer. So nothing's taken out. That cloudiness you see is the brewer's yeast, which is filled with B vitamins. You're seeing the protein from the wheat, and you're seeing the fiber from the oats. So this really is a healthy drink. I'm a beer doctor, I know this.
Well, I could tell everybody I'm drinking healthy tonight. I'm having a Blue Moon. So it's a Belgian wit, kind of like a Hefeweizen around that. Are there differences?
Yes, there are. There are big differences. So you've got the German Weizen beers. In Munich, you've got the Weizen beer, which is really a nice beer that has a kind of clove banana character from the yeast. If you go to Berlin, you have the Berliner Weiss, which is another wheat beer from Germany that has a very sour character. And a lot of people aren't familiar with it, but it's very sour. And then in Belgium, you have the Belgian wit beers. Wit is Flemish for white. And they call it that because as you hold it up to the light, you see that white cloudiness, and that's why they're called white beers or wit. And I fell in love with these styles in Belgium, and I thought, I'm going to bring that style to the States.
And that's exactly what he did. Building upon the Belgian wit beers, Villa put his own creative twist by incorporating Valencia orange peel and coriander to his brew. As a result, Blue Moon Belgian White was created in 1995.
A blue moon is when you have 2 full moons in 1 month. And normally you have 1 full moon every month. But when you have 2 full moons in 1 month, that second full moon is called the blue moon.
Cheers, Guam. Reporting for The Good Life, I'm Andy Wheeler.
We close out our show with a special performance by Sinahi Sanchez. Until next time, be good, Guam.